In a lot of parts of the world, people still think of renewable energy as an alternative, while mainstream energy is based on fossil fuels, emitting greenhouse gases that change the Earth's climate, emitting air pollutants that are hazardous to health and to ecosystems. And also, fossil fuels, of course, are a stock that gets permanently depleted when they get used. If we look at recent global trends, the alternatives, renewables, are gradually becoming the mainstream. Solar and wind power have taken off and have dropped in price significantly. Clean, run-of-the-river hydro is becoming more widespread in our region. And even within urban areas, pedal power and walking are being recognized again as being healthy alternatives for short-distance travel. This session will talk about innovations and grassroots solutions at community as well as international levels that support the promotion and consumption of renewable energy.
As this relates also to our mandate, I think one of the big obstacles right now for decentralized energy solutions, and I want to emphasize decentralized solutions, is the appropriate financing mechanisms and financing sequence that is available for companies to actually start their business, but also to then consolidate, expand, and scale up their business.
The most important issue is to see the need of holistic perspective for the rural development and in terms of alternative energies. So there are a lot of efforts have been made in the country, and many efforts are focusing on the single issues. For example, the issue of the contaminated water, or issue of the stable electricity supply. So these issues are not always single. They are connected to other issues also. So they are dependent on the other issues. So if we solve one issue, or if we solve in a holistic way, many issues can be solved at the single time. So I think there are two kinds of things about this silo thinking. In practice, the issues are interconnected. As I said, when we raise the issue of the water, or when we raise the issue of the energy, they are connected with the health issues. Or they are connected with the energy issues are connected with the internet issues, or basic or stable supply of energies. So, and the second issue is when we solve the one issue, there needs similar infrastructures, like a building. If we make a single earthquake-resistant building, that can be used for water supply also, and also for the other services, like room rental services, what we are doing in the grassroots level for the local people. To mainstream these alternatives, we have to think in a holistic perspective, so that many issues can be solved at the single time.
Kathmandu or say Nepal, while we haven't developed as much as our neighbors in terms of economic development, while they're growing at double-digit figures, we were going at 2, 3, 4%. But if you look at the number of cars or number of vehicles that Nepal imports, okay, it was growing at Nepal, the vehicle population, growing at around 13, 14% a year for quite a while. Okay, the economy growing at 2, 3%, number of vehicles growing at 14%, which is higher than the growth of vehicles in our neighboring countries, both India and China. Why so? Although we have one of the highest tax regimes. Okay, I think it's basically because the alternative is so bad. People-centric approach to transportation management, transportation development, not a car-centric approach.
I believe led to the government also now including Central Renewable Energy Fund concept within Nepal, where the public sector is supporting the private banks to invest, provide debt financing to rural energy solutions in Nepal. So I think that's some of the areas where my early inspiration comes from there. Some of the biggest challenges, of course, I think most of you know already. You're looking at still almost 2.7 billion people without clean cooking fuels in the world. And 95% of those, that huge number is limited to sub-Saharan Africa and Asia, one of the poorest regions. And then you take a look at that and say 80% of those are living in rural areas. In the Himalayan region, one of the biggest challenges we have in the energy sector is that we still have a very high dependence on coal. Both India and China, have very high uses of coal, and that has to change.